let's get back into this. We're going to give the people a little bit of time to get back in. I'm going to reshare this out, and we will get moving and grooving on to tonight's topics. So what you missed was the introduction of my awesome and amazing and overly talented and way overly qualified for this job co-host Will777JP. Will, for part 2, say hi to the folks for us.
Well, guys, Wednesday night we made it. Thrifty was running a little late because of work, but we're able to get it in. You guys were asking for the podcast today, so we're just happy that we were able to make it happen for you. I know it's a little over what we're normally start at, but we're here. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Now, this is part 2. Little snafu with part 1. Doesn't need to be talked about. Super cool. We're back. We're here. But what Will was mentioning was that Power Wash Simulator is coming to the PlayStation Plus next month. And I'm kind of excited to download it and play it for a few minutes. I don't necessarily think it's going to be great. I don't necessarily think it's going to be awesome. I don't think it's going to be a game I'm going to enjoy. But
Power Wash Simulators was keeping Square Enix alive.
No, that's their mobile division that makes like $1 billion a minute or some shit. Like, they have Square Enix has a really good mobile division for some reason. I don't fully understand it. But that and Final Fantasy XIV are what's keeping them alive. Because it's for dang certain not all the mid games that we've gotten at $250 million a year. That's a lot. That funds one game every year for them from their mobile division. That's insane. So, anyways, tonight we will be discussing Xbox going third party, PlayStation partnering with a studio, and how Xbox sales don't matter. We have articles for all of these. We have articles for every single one because, once again, we like facts. This is obviously the playground, and if you bring things that aren't facts to the playground, I said it before in part 1, but in part 2, you get to walk around the track and you don't get to play on the monkey bars. You don't get to come play tetherball with us. We use facts here, and then we debate the facts. Will and I don't agree on everything. That is for dang certain. But we present facts to one another so we can respect the other's opinion. In the Discord, which y'all should absolutely join, there will be a link in the description after this is all said and done. And a couple times throughout the stream tonight, I will go ahead and put the link in the chat below. If you could, hit that like button. But anyways, what he was saying was that my position on Square Enix is that I'm a Square Enix fanboy. I love Square Enix. I play anything that they'll send me or that they send out. And he's right. But he also said, but he respects me because I don't flip-flop. If they release a crappy game, I'm still ride or die with Square Enix. But, like, I call it like it is, that was a crappy game. If they release a game at $50 that should have been $30, like Valkyrie Elysium, I'm going to call them out on it. And so we're consistent here and we bring facts. That's why tonight we have 3 articles that we will be breaking down. As is our usual pattern here, I will read it, kind of give brief little snippets through it, and then Will and I will kind of discuss the overall contents of the article. And shout out to the best unpaid producer ever in Josh Ayers, because I was running late today because of work. I was running late today because of life, and I didn't have time to do my research like I normally do because I've been on call this week. So like Monday, Tuesday, and then today have just been either resting or going to work, or then resting and then going to work. And so I haven't really had a ton of time. And so he was able to find the articles on the topics that I wanted to cover and get them sent to me, and I was able to get them sent out to Will, and so we are here. So thank you, Josh, for that. And with that, let's dive in. So, Xbox going third party. Wow. There's a lot to say about that, but people who actually get paid to write articles have already said quite a bit. So, this is from gamingbolt.com. I've read articles from there before. This is from Shunal Doke. Tagline is Xbox wants to bring its games and services to every screen, including PlayStation and Nintendo. Microsoft is looking to bring its Game Pass subscription and its games to even rival platforms like PlayStation and Nintendo's hardware. Microsoft is keen on expanding its Game Pass subscription service by bringing it to more devices. Xbox CFO Tim Stewart revealed during a talk at Wells Fargo TMT Summit that the company wants to bring first-party Xbox titles and Game Pass to every screen that can play games, including competing devices like PlayStation and Nintendo consoles. This is in quotes now. It's a bit of a change of strategy, not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring our first-party experiences and our subscription services to every screen that can play games. That means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means that we would have thought that what we would have thought of as competitors in the past, like Nintendo or PlayStation and Nintendo. While Xbox is keen on expanding the audience for its subscription services by bringing it to competing platforms, former PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan has been quite resistant to the idea. Back in September, Ryan referred to Game Pass as being value destructive for not only games, but for the industry as a whole. Ryan said that Microsoft was making large acquisitions because its initial approach with Game Pass did not work. Microsoft has previously spoken about bringing Game Pass to the Nintendo Switch, and rumors in the past have indicated that the company was in talks with Nintendo to make the expansion of subscription services happen. The company is yet to actually bring the service to the platform. However, with an insider indicating all the way back in 2019 that we shouldn't expect to see that happen anytime soon.
It's about to be 10 o'clock, dude. Let's go.
Okay, so here we go. Xbox, this isn't the first time that they've talked about going third party and wanting their screens everywhere. Once again, in our Discord, which is fantastic. There was an article floating around from 2018 where this was also brought up about them getting Game Pass on every platform. And both Will and I have said in the past that they're not going to be making consoles anymore. Or much longer. We're going to read an article later. They don't even consider themselves in the console market anymore, which is nuts. But because they have a console, that's you can't not be in the market and have a thing from the market. That's like saying if you have a coffee shop, I'm not really in the coffee market anymore. My guy, you got a coffee shop. You got to be in the coffee market. You have a damn console. You're in that market. Anyways, they're just not any good at that market. But anyways, so they want, when Phil Spencer comes out and says that we think of PlayStation and Nintendo as in our ecosystem, and then we get articles like this from interviews and yearly reports, like, guys, they're telling us what they're gonna do. And you got Xbox out here defending this damn console with every fiber of their being when Xbox themselves won't even defend the console. It makes absolutely, utterly no sense. And yeah, Josh, that statement was from Phil's boss. Like, that's not some intern that works in the basement with a red stapler and his name is Milton. Like, that's not that. It's somebody of importance saying this. More important than Phil the Royalty Spencer. Will, what are your thoughts on this, man?
Well, two things. The first one is Xbox can decide they want to be publishers for every console and whatever, but the real question is Nintendo and PlayStation gonna allow them to even be in their platform?
Only if they
That's
get rid of their
the first
console.
question. And second question is, even if, but second question, which relates to what Thrifty just said, is they can't even produce games for their own console. How are they gonna produce games for everybody else? So what? They're just gonna buy up publishers to become an even bigger publisher. So they failed as a console manufacturer. They failed as a first party game maker. And screw it. We're going to move on to the publishing business. So they're going to end up buying these publishers, fail at that too, because Microsoft has done nothing but succeed only at Windows. That's been their bread and butter. That's the only thing that's kept them going, that keeps them going. That's the only thing of value within that company. And yeah, they have, the AI stuff and a couple other things, which once again, they didn't create, they didn't innovate. All they did was just throw the money at it. And look at the freak out that happened 2 weeks ago when the CEO got basically fired by the board. You're giving somebody who is, they're delusional. They think that because we claim we are planting our flag and we're going to become third party publishers, that now all of a sudden people are supposed to just accept them as third party publishers. That's not how it works in real life. That's not how it works in business. You have to earn that. And Xbox has proven over the last 22 years, going on 23 years, that they are incapable. All the way from the beginning, they have bought every single ounce of success that they've had, from the Halos to the Hi-Fi Rushes to the Bethesdas. They have bought everything that has an ounce of it being okay or good. So, does this surprise me? No. We've been talking about this week in, week out. The questions really aren't will they become third party publishers? The question really is one, will Nintendo and PlayStation allow them to do so? Secondly, like he said, that's if they're console makers, you know, how that's gonna affect them, um, making a deal with PlayStation and Nintendo. But even if they got rid of that console, they're gonna want some sort of cloud, um, something where they can run. The problem with Xbox is they can't accept defeat. They are very sore losers, and the industry has been giving them last place medals forever, and
The Green Award.
the Green Award, and like what was it? Bush's George, the other one.
The baked beans?
Yes, the baked beans Bush. No, not the baked beans Bush. The the last Bush, the No Child Left Behind policy that he did. It's like the industry is doing the no
Oh,
console
George
maker
Bush.
behind part. Yeah, George Bush, George W. Fool me once, shame on me. That the Bushisms. Um, no left behind policy that he did, the industry has decided to do a no Xbox behind policy, and that's the real tax, not this bullshit that these guys are saying, but that's the real tax. How Xbox is still in the race, even though they're laps behind everybody else, but because the whole industry has been carrying them. I mean, let's not forget, Xbox won Publisher of the Year, but they didn't publish shit. You know, just to show you the kind of Xbox tax that I'm talking about. But yeah, no, this is I can't. Anytime we bring up Xbox, I just can't take them serious at all. Not in anything.
No, and I'm gonna come in on some of the stuff the chat was saying.
Oh, one last thing before you take over. Also, this is sad news, guys. I see a lot of people celebrating this and memes, and yeah, they're funny, but this is sad. This is very sad because now you're gonna leave us with PlayStation and Nintendo, which yeah, they're the best to do it. But even though Xbox is 5 laps behind on a 6 lap race, there's not gonna be any competition unless Google steps in, Apple steps in, you know, one of these big companies steps in to make a console to compete. But this is a sad day.
yeah,
This is a very sad day.
I think Apple will fill that void. They've been screwing around wanting to get into the gaming industry for a long time, and they hit a freaking home run
Well, they're
with the
creatives.
Apple Arcade. Uh, I don't know if you've ever done that, but I had a free trial to it, and there was a Turtles
I
game
don't
on
mess
there,
with iPhones, dude.
bro. Okay, that's right. Yeah, you don't do iPhones. The Apple Arcade has a Ninja Turtle game on there that makes the entire service worth it. It is freaking fun. And so, anyways, I think Apple could fill that void. But one of the things that Josh said in chat was that they think they are important, and I agree, but I think that they're in a position right now. Looking at this objectively, they're in a position right now where they are not important as Xbox, but the IPs that they own are very important. We can piss and moan about Call of Duty as much as we want. I mean, absolutely as much as we want. But the fact is, that game on a yearly basis is going to sell millions of copies. It just will. We can crap on Diablo, we can crap on World of Warcraft, we can crap on everything that Blizzard tries to put out, but at the end of the day, those games sell. And Diablo Immortal makes $500 million a year for them. They are going to find at Microsoft, and this is what I think is going to drive it. I think if there was no ABK deal, there would be no third party publisher. And this talk wouldn't even be in the works because they're going to realize that the IP that they have is worth more and will make them more money than trying to latch on and stay into this console market where they're getting their ass kicked. But I also agree with Will that this is very sad. Like, if we look at this as consumers, the PS4 generation was only amazing because Xbox damn near whooped that ass in the PS3 generation. And I say damn near, I think it was like 86 to like 80 or 86 to 75. Like, I thought they were really close together in sales, if I'm not mistaken. I know that PlayStation beat them, but that's why we got games like The Last of Us. We got games like Infamous. We got games like God of War 3. Like, we got these games because they had to do something.
Well,
And
Thrifty, they PlayStation learned from their mistakes, and this is what I said in probably the first or second podcast I was in, is that the sad part about all this all is just looking at this from an outside perspective, a logical point of view, right? PlayStation went through a huge roller coaster from the PS1 to the PS2, and then that big drop came when the PS3 came out, right? And then they started climbing again through the PS4, and now they're showing with the PS5. But what I was alluding to is that PlayStation laid out basically the playbook where all Xbox has to do is literally just copy them step by step. How to overcome, I mean, the crazy prices with the PS3, the difficulty that Xbox is having right now with the Series S and the Series X as far as development goes and getting third-party games in their ecosystem. PlayStation has been through it all and worse, because there came a time where EA or Activision, Bobby himself told PlayStation, like, look, guys, we might not be putting Call of Duty out there. EA themselves said, hey, guys, we might not be putting Madden on the PlayStation. It is too difficult. It's taking up way too many resources. So PlayStation has been through this stuff. All Xbox has to do is just copy. Now, what really concerns me, or not PlayStation, but Xbox, but what really concerns me, especially what Thrifty was saying, is that he's right. Call of Duty is gonna sell, with the hypocrisy of the gamer. I call it the hypocrisy of the gamer, and we're seeing it as recent as the last few days, right? Um, with this new game, people have been crapping on it. The Suicide Squad game, right? People want to go back to the Batman game or the Arkham game. Like, man, we went from that to this, the superheroes. But that game is gonna do numbers. So the thing is, the gamers constantly talk, about how they're gonna talk with their wallet, but they end up buying the stuff that they say they're against. And yes, that's what's gonna help Xbox in the future as far as being a third-party publisher and how they're gonna succeed. But the problem with Microsoft that's gonna ruin it all is that they're gonna see numbers that they've never seen before, money they've never seen before when they start selling these games, right? The Diablos and the Call of Duties and Candy
Yep.
Crush. They're gonna see crazy numbers, right? They're gonna be high-fiving each other like, wow, this $70 billion investment was totally worth it. We're gonna make it $100 billion company in the next decade or half decade. But they're gonna do what every greedy corporation does. They're gonna try to milk it even more. The problem with that is that Call of Duty is already milked to the thinnest. So how much more milking can you do?
Them
So this is
jokers
where the
just
kind
hanging down to the floor, ain't got no life left in them.
ain't
Like
got no
they.
life left. Like you're getting air slash drops. Like you're getting the essence of it. Like you open up a empty jar of peanut butter. There is none, but you can kind of get that scent. Like that's where Call of Duty is right now. So then my concern is gonna be is how much longer are they gonna go before not only kill it, right? Meaning they suck it dry, but also
Pause.
Xbox is also known, or Microsoft is known for buying companies. It doesn't do what they wanted to do in a short period of time, and they cancel the whole thing. They throw it away. The most recent that's notable that we've seen was Mixer. They bought it, they got Ninja involved, they made these big contracts, these big money deals, and what happened in 6 months? They shut the whole thing down. Zune, I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So, how long before Microsoft gets tired of ABK or of Activision or Blizzard or any of the numerous companies? How much longer before they say, well, we milked the cow dry, let's throw it away without even recycling? That's the real problem here. And now
Well, I mean,
PlayStation,
they're showing at ABK that they can do that. They just did that with Modern Warfare 3. It's the same maps with like 4 additional, and there's a 2 hour campaign, and it's mediocre as hell, and folks are like, I love this shit. It's so
well, that's what I'm
awesome.
saying. They're Activision right now has milked Call of Duty to a point where it's on a fork of the in the road right now,
Right, that's what I
and
was saying. Like,
Xbox has taken over. So
how many
now,
do you
how
think
much
they can
worse is it gonna
do?
get?
Like, how
I
many
don't know.
more?
I'm thinking if they continue at this pace, they'll probably be able to get at least five more before the numbers really start dropping to a point where they have to do something about it. But remember, Call of Duty's worst will still be Xbox's best ever.
Yes, your biggest flops, or my
So
biggest flops are your greatest hits.
exactly. So then in a normal company, if it was Activision, they go in freak out mode, right? All right, guys, we got to redo something. We're firing a whole bunch of people. We're gonna hire a bunch of people. We're gonna go new. Like it would be just complete freak out mode. Try to fix this. Xbox wouldn't do that because to them, this is still success. So they're gonna keep going that route, and they're gonna get to a point like, why isn't this working? And that's where I think you're going to see Microsoft just say, you know what, screw it, we're getting rid of it all. We got our money back, and we made some. Let's just focus on other things. And remember, you have products like MetaQuest 3 that are really blowing up. You have the AI that's really coming along as far as technology goes. It's improving every single week. It's something new about it. So there's different industries that have a lot of potential where now you have these companies going completely different route as far as live service goes. You're talking about how what they're charging for the games is not inadequate or it's inadequate. You're talking about the huge investment it takes to even make a AAA game. So you have a lot of these publishers that are like, it's almost not even worth it anymore. So it's gonna take a strong company to show the industry like, no, you guys are just doing business incorrectly. And hopefully Nintendo and PlayStation can do that. Plus, get some new blood in, such as Google or Apple, and turn the industry on its head by showing the industry a new way on how to do things. And hopefully that can keep things going. But I'm very sad today, man. This is very bad news. I'm actually worried about the future of gaming.
So it's interesting you say that because I've actually been not necessarily worried because here's the thing. I do think that we as PlayStation fans, as the ones who still purchase our games, which we can get into this too, I think the reason why, we'll get into that later. That's another topic. Um, but we still purchase our games. PlayStation knows that. PlayStation knows that if they give us the quality, we will give them the quantity of sales. We will. We've proven that before in the past. We will open the wallet and say, here, take my money. And if we don't do it on release, we will do it at some point. It's just a fact. And so when you're sitting here and you're looking at their business model, they now own these companies where they have fan bases that are so large that they're going to get their game purchased no matter what. So I agree. I think we have 5. I think you're right. I think you're going to get 5 more years out of this, and then it's going to be something else.
And I hope
And
I'm wrong.
but it also, wrapping back in, because I got a little sidetracked with my thoughts. Wrapping back in, um, somebody said, sorry, hang on. Somebody said in chat, quality T over quantity T. That's hilarious. And then somebody said Days Gone is a testament. Yeah, Days Gone actually did really well later on.
10
But
million.
with Call of Duty, people are going to purchase it. And they're going to find out, okay, we need to swap out. We just need to be a third party publisher. This game by itself damn near made more profit for us than the Xbox consoles have. Like we we need to do something here because this company that we just bought for $70 billion makes more money than our entire console division. That's a problem. And I think you will see, and I said this earlier, I think you will see Apple or Google jump back in. Google tried. They just they needed to let that idea bake for a little bit longer. But I also think failure is the doorway to success. So they could be working or have been working on something behind the scenes ever since Stadia died. We don't know. And so, anyways, there's some speculation on that. It's a sad day if Sony rests on its laurels. I think that as gamers, though, we've given them enough reason to keep giving us quality because when the quality's not there, we don't buy the game. We're
Well,
different in. Go ahead.
something that PlayStation does very well. One of the a couple reasons why they sell so many games is because they make the games attractive to the hardcore gamer and to casual gamer. Where Xbox seems to be in this limbo where they're either going right or left, meaning casual or hardcore, but they're failing at both. What PlayStation does with their games is they make it, very attractive at first look, right? So you have Spider-Man web swinging, right? And the casual's gonna see that and be like, oh, that's really cool. The hardcore is like, yeah, that's cool, but what else can it do? Once you start playing the game and you start to see the combat and the gameplay systems and the graphics and the technology behind it, that's what keeps us going. So PlayStation is attacking the sales market from two directions. Xbox is not. They're just going the straight up casual way by including the Series S, right?
I
You
love
know,
that
I'm
shit. They're
actually
just not.
I'm going through this myself at work where we have our own brand of tools, right? Well, our company decided to come out with the same tools but named but a new brand, and then they tell us this is for a different market, least expensive, right? So we're not making these to compete with ourselves. I'm like, well, you are, because when customers walk in, it's very rare that a person says, hey, I want the best of the tools that you have available. Yeah, price is a concern, but if it's worth it, I'll pay for it. No, what ends up happening is I want the cheapest possible. And that is the Xbox gamer. They want the cheapest possible. And we know this how? Because if you follow our Discord, I posted how Dragon's Dogma got, I think it was like 150,000 views in like 12 hours or something like that, right? On their trailer on the PlayStation channel. On the Xbox channel, they had like 10 or 15,000 views. And if you look at their comments, shout out to Henry who pointed this out, you start to see when is it coming on Game Pass,
Yeah.
right? A game that is not even out yet, that is coming out in March, right? That a lot of people are excited for, including me. I'm not thinking about I'm gonna pay for it or is it gonna be free. No, I'm thinking is I gotta have this game. Where can I buy it? I want it. The Xbox gamer, first thing that comes to their head is how much money do I have to pay for it? How, am I gonna get it for free? So when you're talking about two separate markets completely, that's why I say the PlayStation market is gamers, while the Xbox market is casuals. And look, I consider casual gamers to be gamers as well. Like I told Thrifty, I don't care if you play Candy Crush for 2 hours a month. To me, you're still a gamer. If it's something you're looking forward to, that's you're a gamer to me, right? You're playing the game, you enjoy it, you look forward to it.
Dude,
The
I saw the coolest thing ever today. Oh no, it was yesterday. I went into my local game store and there was a couple there. And or was that today? That was today. There was a couple there. The man had to be 65 years old. He had just got himself a 55-inch LED. No, it was a 55-inch LCD Samsung TV. It was one of the models that like needed a special adapter to be able to hook up all your HDMI cords and everything to it. But he had just got it, and his wife just got a PS5, and she was in there buying games, and she was like, "Yeah, I started by playing." She was like, "I started by playing Call of Duty, but I got bored with that, so now I'm looking for other shooters." And she had Battlefield, and I'm freaking sitting there going, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
That's awesome.
There's freaking older people here getting into gaming and I'm sitting here like, and they got a PS5, and they got a newer TV. Like, she's tickled shitless playing this, and she's playing it at 1080p on an old Samsung. It was top of the line back then, but an old Samsung television that's barely getting 60 frames per second. Like, that's nuts. So, anyways, that's just a side thing that all that made me think of was just watching that pure joy that is being had by people from gaming. And that makes me excited. So when you talk about people who are gamers, man, that's just what brought that up for me. Um, anyways, enough of that mushy stuff. Let's go ahead and continue. Nelson, you're freaking killing me, dude. Guys, y'all got to get in the Discord. Here, I'm gonna put a link into the chat. Nelson just posted a stupid funny picture. Y'all got to see this. Hang on, let me get y'all in here because we have one hell of a community. Here you go. There's the Discord. Hey, hit that. Also, while you're here, hit that dang like button. We got 14 of y'all in here, and we got, let's see. This is called station identification, by the way. And we got 9 likes. That means 5 of y'all are lurking in the shadows. And we don't do that here. Come out and play. We're friendly. We're nice. Oh, JP Loco, what's up, man? My mom loves Cuphead. She's into old school arcade games like Pac-Man. That is freaking awesome, dude. My mom's game, the only game she played was Miss Pac-Man. Once Thrifty Game Reviews goes OLED, he will no longer be leaving his screen on static. I don't know what screen on static as static. Oh, it's not static. I'm not leaving my screen on static. I actually have this playing in the background because there's a lot of movement on the screen. And so, anyways, yeah. So that's actually one reason why I always pick a game that has a moving background for the show. So let's get into thy next topic. PlayStation partners with a studio. And for this one, we will be going to, let's see, PlayStationLifestyle.net. Like I said, Josh sent these articles to me, and I didn't quite realize where they were from. So I'm so happy he picked up the. I'm so happy he picked good articles. All right, so here we go. Stellar Blade Dev.
Josh, man. Thank you,
Dude,
Josh.
shout out to this dude, man. He saved the show today because I was not gonna have time. I was pushing it to make it here tonight. Dude, I know you got a kid though, and you're busy with your work, so I didn't want to bother you. And I know Josh has always said hit him up for anything, so I was like, I'm a C. And
Josh, when I
Josh,
become a billionaire, I'm gonna take care of you, bro.
that's right. That's
But
right.
don't hold your breath because a billion is, a billion.
It's a billion. So it's Stellar Blade Dev reportedly becomes Sony's first Korean second-party studio. Stellar Blade PS5 developer ShiftUp has reportedly formalized an agreement with Sony Interactive Entertainment to
Real
become
quick,
its...
sorry to cut you off, but can you explain to the people and me what a second party deal is?
So second party is basically where they own the IP, but a studio that's not a PlayStation studio makes it for them. And they actually do this quite a bit. It's like what Helldivers is. It's a Helldivers 2 is a IP that is owned by Sony that is produced or that is developed by Arrowhead Games. And so that's second party. It's not going to go anywhere else, but another studio builds it. Yeah, Henry's saying PS owns the IP, another studio builds the game. Yeah.
Okay.
Like
That's what I
yeah.
thought it was, but a lot of bots keep saying that those don't exist, so
Yeah,
I
that's
just
they
wanted
don't
you to
exist
make
for
it
them.
clear.
They
Yeah,
don't
oh,
exist for them
yeah. No, for
because
them it's either they buy the whole company, including, the company, the CEO's grandmother, or it's not real.
so the game was originally announced as a multi-platform title called Project Eve. Stellar Blade PS5 release date has yet to be announced. That's interesting. I didn't realize that Stellar Blade was originally announced as multiplat. I thought Project Eve was always PlayStation. Huh. That's really cool. Anyways, Stellar Blade release date is yet to be announced. The report of a second-party development contract comes from Korean news site gameschosen.co.kr. According to a translation of the article, the agreement between ShiftUp and Sony was signed on November 24th. The article claims, dang, that was a day before Thanksgiving. Ouch. Why y'all... This is why Jim Ryan's retiring. That crap right there is why his ass is retiring. He couldn't be home. He had to go to Korea to sign a deal? Like, man.
Oh, he's a multimillionaire. He flew back that same day.
That's probably true. The article, because I'm thinking like myself, I'd have to stay in a hotel.
You're like going to the airport, trying to catch your Uber, make sure you have your lunch money. No, dude.
Oh, Josh,
Jim
I'm
probably
so
brought his
stupid.
family with.
I'm so stupid. Josh goes, Josh said Jim is Britain or British. They or others are Korean. It wasn't a freaking holiday for them.
Yeah, that's true too.
Oh, I'm so stupid.
Well,
Wow.
Americans thinking that we are,
We are the world, right?
we are the world. Yeah.
The article claims that alongside handing over Stellar Blade's publishing rights to Sony, oh, Sony bought the IP from them. Damn. Okay, that's really cool. The studio has joined SIE's second party partner program. However, there's no mentions of any other project beyond Stellar Blade. I don't care. I just want Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade was expected to be released sometime in 2023, but it's safe to say that this release window has been missed. According to Game Chosen, a new release information will be shared at a later date. The game caught attention when it was originally unveiled at 2021's PlayStation Showcase and re-emerged a year later looking visibly improved. Eve and her comrades land on the surface to reclaim the extinct Earth and cross paths with a survivor named Adam, reads an official synopsis. Eve is then led by Adam to the last surviving city, Zion, spelled with an X, because we have to be fancy, where she meets the elder of the town, Oracle. That's cool. In order to serve her mission to save Earth, Eve develops close relationships with key members of Zion and contributes to the rebuilding of the city. Okay, so a couple things from this article that really just stuck out. Fun fact, guys, first time reading the article. First time. So, some really cool things that stuck out is I believe that Stellar Blade looks absolutely downright out freaking impressive because Sony looked at it and said, "Yeah, that's ours. We want that. That's mine." Sony basically did what a good dog does when they're trying to mark their territory and went and peed on it with a signature and some money and said, "Yeah, hey, that's ours now. We want that." And that bodes very well and should instill a ton of confidence in us as gamers that Stellar Blade is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Well,
Like,
Thrifty, that's very cool what you just said. But the most important thing about what happened here, the most important thing is PlayStation didn't go in there and try to buy the whole company, try to buy their family and their family's mortgages and say, we own you now. No.
there were
They
no
went
tramp
in there,
stamps.
no tramp stamps. They went in there and said, hey guys, we think you're doing a great job. How can we be involved? I know that you guys are a smaller company, you're Korean based, you're very talented. How about we fund this game, get you the money you need, you keep working, you keep creating, your risk is basically, very minimal, but we also don't own you. So that's a true business deal where both parties are benefiting. You look at Xbox and how they try to do their so-called quote unquote business deals, and it's more like we want to buy everything you own, including your backyard. That's where the problems come in. That's why Bungie jumped ship. That's why numerous other people jump ship, because that is a huge commitment. And they're just not ready for that. If you take a look at the purchases PlayStation has done over the last decade and specifically 15 years or so, every single one of them say the same thing. We're with Sony, but Sony's given us the flexibility to do what we want. And you know it's not forced. You know that it's not coerced. You can tell that it is authentic. And look what happens when you don't have, that's why I tell people all the time, man, if you're unhappy with living paycheck to paycheck, then do something about it, because I know that feeling and I know how it is. And just imagine these studios. They have 20 million, 50, 100, 200 million dollars invested into this game. If it doesn't sink, if it doesn't float, it sinks. If it sinks, everything is destroyed, right? Lives are destroyed, uprooted. With that being taken care of, with the sales of your games being taken care of, you can really focus your energy on the things that really matter, and that is being creative, making a high quality game. And I just want to give a shout out to Jim Ryan for that and PlayStation, because this isn't new. we saw with, I mean, so many games. The most recent one that I can think of, I mean, Bungie, of course, and also, what's that indie that we, Ember Labs, and what they
Kena
say,
Bridge of Spirits.
Kena Registers, and what Ember Labs said, like, thank you for the offer, but we're good. Did Sony make, throw a tantrum? It's like, no, you have to. No, they're like, all right, cool. Well, when you make your next game, let us get first dibs. And what do you think Ember Labs gonna do? They're gonna give them first dibs. And
Yeah,
that's what
it's
makes it so important, guys. Yeah, the making a deal with them is awesome, but the real key moments of this transaction is how the business was handled. A
right.
very profitable deal for both companies, so we think, and a very honorable company, or a
Well,
very honorable
so
deal.
one of the other cool things is that like you can see them do this, and this is why in the description I said we're going to talk about the strategies of both of these companies a little bit, because you can see how Sony buys a company, or not buys, sorry, partners with a company. That company makes a couple games for them, and then they buy them, right?
Okay.
They like it, so they buy it. One comes out in another color, they like that, so they buy that. Like, but they do it in a way where, let's take Housemark for example. You had Resogun and Nex Machina, and then Sony came in and said, "Hey, we want you to make this IP for us. We really love your work. We love what you've done on our platform. Resogun did really great. Nex Machina is a wonderful title. What do you think you can do?" And they said, "Here, this is what we've been working on." Sony said, "Awesome. We want to put that on our platform exclusively." Oh, cool. That game came out. Everything went very well. Well enough. I know people are going to say, well, it only sold 700,000 copies. I understand that, but it went well
Dude, you
enough.
sell 700 of anything and watch how happy you get.
Right.
That's just the most ridiculous freaking thing.
And so, like, yes, they then purchased them. I think we're going to see the same thing with Arrowhead. If Helldivers 2 comes out and it's a smash hit, I guarantee you the offer will be on the table for Arrowhead to become a PlayStation studio. Because one of the things that we lack desperately at PlayStation is a shooter franchise that is sustainable. It's
Just
just a
imagine them
fact.
working on a freaking, single player campaign like that. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off there, too, but this is important as well.
You're good,
And
you're
and
good.
and I've seen a lot of these bots, right, saying, "Oh yeah, Sony is so, they're so bad because they basically have these companies prove themselves before they buy them, right?" Dude, you guys are just seeing this from a, God, uh, this is your podcast. I don't want to say it, but whatever. If you want to kick me out after this, kick me out. But I always been saying that Xbox gamers are like the communists of the gaming industry. An example that's proven that you guys have seen this is on Twitter the last few days. They've been talking about how Xbox should buy a publisher so they can control the narrative, right? Because of this Xbox tax. They're literally talking about buying a magazine company, a journalist company like IGN, for example. Now, IGN wasn't thrown out there, but I'm just using it as an example so you can see what I'm saying. And they want Microsoft to buy them so they can control the narrative and say all the good things about Xbox. Like, that is propaganda, folks. And look, everybody does propaganda one way or another, but this is like blatant. And the reason I'm saying this is because the same thing with this whole PlayStation Studios, that wasn't that bad, right, Thrifty?
Mm.
Alright. So the reason I say that is because with this whole PlayStation, oh, they have to prove themselves, right? In order for PlayStation to buy them, they have to come out with a couple games, they have to be a hit. No, this goes both ways. The company, the developer can also see what it's like working with PlayStation.
Sure,
It's a
sure.
great way for both companies to roll the red carpet out, show off their strengths to each other, and see if the relationship works. If people did that with their regular lives, with their spouses, with their wives, with their husbands, their girlfriends, their boyfriends, at work, the divorce rate would be very low. The firing and quitting would be very low because you guys both know what you bring to the table and you can make adjustments where your strengths and weaknesses are. And there is so many benefits, and us, the gamers, are receiving these benefits. Look at the games we're playing, look at the quality, and not just that, look at the quantity we're playing as well. And I just want to say that real quick, Thrifty, while you're going through
No, you're good. You're
the
good.
report here.
So it's just interesting to me the way the two companies have operated. Um, because we see Sony do this often. And one thing I will say, I do think that I think it's a proving ground, but I do agree with you that it's a proving ground for both sides. Like, we want to know what you can bring to us if you're Sony, right? Like, Jim Ryan has stated that. I went over that interview extensively. Jim Ryan has stated that their goal is to forward or to add stuff to their portfolio that they don't already have to strengthen their weaknesses and to support their first party studios. Those are the two things they look at when they acquire somebody. Is this going to strengthen our first party studios? And is it going to support our first party studios? Like, those are the only things that he cares about. Why? Because he only cares about delivering quality games. That's it.
And Thrifty, why is he focused on quality games? Why is that?
Oh, because we buy them if they're quality. We will save money. We will put
Exactly.
$10 a week for 6 weeks on, or I'm sorry, I've got the collector's edition. We will put $10 a week for 10 weeks on Final Fantasy 16 because he secured that quality for us. They need, yeah, Josh, they need to sell games. They have to. It's not a question. Because what we're going to get into a little bit later is the metric by which each company gauges their success. One of them doesn't have to actually be profitable. One of them can be written off by a mega corporation as a loss. The other one is Sony. And they cannot afford big, heavy failures in their games. I think that's also why it's taking them so long between first party titles if you're not Insomniac, because they are having to make sure that these games land and land properly. There was a quote going around that I don't remember who said it, but it was basically a developer that says a delay sucks for the moment, a bad review or a flop of a game that sucks forever. Like, so
Well, there's two
basically,
of those quotes, but the main one that people they combine both of them, but yeah, they mean the same shit. But the one, what's the dude from Valve, the owner or
that's
one
what
of
it
the
is. The guy from
founders?
Valve.
Yeah, he basically said you can delay the game, or a bad game is or can you say that again, Thrifty?
It's like a bad game. No,
But he used the word junk in there, is what I'm trying to say. Because there was a big confusion that the guy from Nintendo was the one who said this originally in the 90s, but it was actually a developer, a lady, who said that about a game, and then wait, I'm sorry, I'm just babbling about nonsense, but I just wanted to, because that's a very, popular saying. Basically, if you release an unfinished game, delay is temporary, but the bad game will suck forever. Josh,
yeah,
you're
Josh,
the
find the
producer,
quote, man.
dude. You're the
Find the quote.
producer, Josh.
I'm sitting here
Remember,
trying to.
I might become a billionaire, Josh.
I'm sitting here trying to find the damn quote, but yeah, it's basically that
We're both rambling
you,
like
you can
the.
delay the game for a little bit, and that sucks in the moment. But if you release a stinker of a game, that sucks. Period. Like, basically saying if you rush a game to market, if you send a game to market like a Redfall, instead of delaying it 6 months,
And a
you did more
Starfield.
damage than if you just would have delayed it.
Yeah.
Which is what Sony is doing right now. Like, everything that we've known about has gotten delayed. Spider-Man got delayed. God of War got delayed. Horizon got delayed.
Spider-Man got
Returnal.
delayed.
Yeah, Spider-Man was supposed to come out last year.
Really?
Spider-Man was supposed to come out last year. And then they
Well,
delayed it.
6 years. Oh, remember, guys? And oh, I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Ricky, but
No, you're good.
this came to my mind. And you said that, everybody except Insomniac, which of course, putting PlayStation on their back or shoulder the whole 9 yards. But let's not forget, guys, Naughty Dog released a game in 2020. That was 3 years ago. Sucker Punch, same thing. That was 3 years ago. Days Gone, that was 4 years ago. So like, yeah, we're like, oh man, these remakes and all this crap, but guys, these games, the average AAA development, which is the majority of PlayStation games, the cycle is 4 plus. On average, is 5 years. We're starting to see them 6, 7 years. So this whole complaining, and I get it. We're selfish gamers, dude. I'm with you guys. I'm
Oh,
complaining
here
right
it
there
is.
with you.
Here it is. Hero got it. Hero, you are my hero. It's
Shout out to Hero as well.
Shigeru Miyamoto. A delayed game is eventually good. A rushed game is bad forever.
Bam. Thank
Boom.
you, Hero.
Right there. Thank you. That's gonna bug the shit out of me for the rest of the show.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
But
fuck. I'm trying to.
PlayStation is doing everything they need to make sure their business stays a business. And they're doing it well enough to where they're outselling consoles. They're outselling a DualSense with an 8-inch screen in the middle. Like, you can't buy those anywhere.
Which is loved, by the way.
I can get a Backbone, which is a piece of shit device.
Fuck that shit.
They put the damn... If they would just drop the freaking thumbstick.
Yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck, man?
Just drop.
That's why I didn't
the
buy it. I'm
thumbstick.
like, what the fuck is this shit? If I want
Well,
that, I'll get the Xbox controller. Like, what the fuck?
Like, I could buy one of the... I have a Backbone type product, and if the only difference is that I can, like, actually see X, circle, square, and triangle where they're supposed to be, that's not good enough. I can take some of my wife's nail polish and put it on the buttons my damn self. Like, that's... And I can take it apart and paint it blue and white. Like, not a big enough deal for me to spend $100 on that.
Speaking of wives, guys, go check out Thrifty's page. His wife has a soap business. It is awesome. Highly recommend it. He just said nail polish and wife, and I was like, oh yeah.
I know. I was not going to be promoting that here. That's okay though. Yes, my wife does have a soap business. That was not planned, staged, or anything. I didn't know he was going to do that, but yes, she does have a soap business. She makes her own homemade soaps. They have about 6 ingredients total. I think 4 of those are oils, and so like really, really good soap. Anyways, back to what we're doing. Next thing you know, I'll have a coffee brand.
Hey, it's quality. It's quality.
Hey, it's quality. It's quality. That's right. I'd end up having to buy a $20,000 roaster so I could do it. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. This thing about Stellar Blade, about the studio shift up, guys, this is not the first time that we've been able to look and go, hey, Sony, you're doing it right. Also, there has never been a studio that I could remember, at least in recent memory, where they saw them developing the game, purchased the IP, gave it to us, and it was a shit game. I can't remember when that happened. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but I have no idea what that was. And also, strangely enough, on to Will's point about it only being 3 years ago that we got new games from both of those major studios, and Santa Monica, shit, that was last year. Gorilla was last. Like, I get that, but I think the problem is that we have been so completely and utterly spoiled, freaking rotten by Insomniac that we're like, man, all these studios and we have to wait 5 years for a game. Insomniac gave me 3 in that time. Where's the rest of my games? Why can't these other studios? Where's all of like?
Well, let's be real. Platinum was a 40-hour journey to platinum. At least for me, it was. Some guys are doing it in 30. So there is a difference. I don't
But
care
we're
what
those
anybody
children. We act very childish when we don't get our games fast.
Ratchet and Clank, same thing. It was a 15, 20-hour game. So yeah, they're producing games left and right, which is awesome for me, but they're short games. We're knocking them out in, so a heavy gamer like myself, I knocked out Spider-Man in a week and a half. So yeah, we're gonna complain, we're gonna bitch. At least we're thankful that the games are quality and they're bug free for the most part, and they run and feature complete, which is huge. You
So
know,
you think 40 hours is a short experience?
I do.
That
To platinum? Absolutely.
really? Okay, okay.
Dude, I got 70 hours out of, once again, the game you hate the most, Diablo 4, and all I did was a campaign and a couple dungeons. I can
Yeah,
invest hundreds of hours
but those
in
are
that game.
completely different styles of games.
I know that. But I'm saying when we look, God of War took me 60 hours. Horizon
That's
took
true.
me 90
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
hours. Like
that's
and
that's
I'm not
true.
saying a long game makes it good or bad. No, because like I said, I would buy Call of Duty just for the campaign, if just for 6, 8 hours of gameplay. I didn't buy
So
it this
would
year
you
because it's
prefer
3 hours.
cadence? Would you prefer this is a good conversation. Would you prefer cadence over um, over length? So in other words, would you prefer games coming out faster but maybe in more sections
Yes.
than than us waiting 5 years for a game that's 80, 90 hours long?
Yes, main reason is because these games are 80, 90. For example, Horizon was 80, 90 hours long, but that's because there's a ton of side content. I much rather they come out with a game that's got, I don't want to say no side content, but let's say if Horizon is, 10 is a Horizon side content, like a Ubisoft, where there's a 10 out of side content, and then you have something like, I don't know, what's more streamlined? Like Returnal, let's say you didn't die and you had to start all over and you actually had checkpoints, right? And they really don't have much side content. And let's say that's like a one, right? Just for comparison's sake. I much rather a game be at a 4 or 5 with side content in the game or side quests, but come out more consistently. Like how we were back in the day when we were kids, where, like the Mass Effect games, you got a trilogy like within 6 years. Now this new Mass Effect game got announced in basically 2018, and they're saying it won't be out till 2029.
Bro, we still don't know shit about that game.
No, we know more than what we did last year, but I mean, still, Dragon Age Inquisition, that game's gonna end up taking 7, 8 years, maybe 9 years. Cyberpunk, these games, even Bethesda with their Starfield, so it's like, and the worst part about it all is, look at Bethesda with Starfield. You have it, got announced 10 years ago. They've been working on it heavily, for the last 6, 7 years, and it's a mid game. So you've been waiting a decade for this damn game, and if it's flat. So then you have that fear as well. Now we got lucky that Horizon was really good, and some of these other games are really good, but at what point, and I think that goes into the discussion of cost, right? Why these developers are complaining about these huge budgets. Well, your games are falling flat, you're not making your money back, and you invested all this time. Why not do a little test run with something smaller, something, and gamers are asking for this now. Gamers want a 10, 15 hour game. A lot of them even prefer that, especially content creators who push a lot of these games. Of course they want shorter games so
Well,
they can play
how many
more.
folks want an Atreus DLC, or how many folks want not a DLC but an Atreus spin-off game connecting the two
Spin-off.
games? How many
Hmm.
folks want a Venom spin-off title like the Miles
Yeah.
Morales? How many folks love things like Lost Levels or um, oh crap, what was the one for Last of Us Part 1? It was that the Lost
Left
Levels?
Behind,
Left
or
Behind.
for
Like,
the yeah.
no, Left Behind. How many folks played the absolute First Light? There we go.
First light.
Lost Legacy. Yeah, stuff like that. Like all of those little
Hmm.
smaller spin-offs,
Yeah.
like those games have always done very well for
And
Sony.
remember, they already have all the backbones already done. So let's
Right.
just get the same stuff out there. Just add on. I know I'm saying it like if it's easy. I know it's not, but I'd much rather get another one of those in 2 years And there's nothing wrong with having the B team work on that game while A
Sure,
team works on your next big project. I just think that they
absolutely.
should be more efficient. And look, this is just me as a gamer talking. Of course, I'm not a developer. I don't know the work it takes to do this. Like I learned something yesterday about gaming. It is with Starfield. They actually use Starfield because it's just ridiculously how they did it. But basically, in Starfield, you're the main character, right? In third person. Well, it was only raining once they zoomed out over the character. Now, developers tend to do this, but they tend to do it basically where the camera is. That way, you're not rendering all this shit that nobody's ever going to see using enough CPU power and stuff like that.
Right.
So they'll do that. The problem with Starfield is they did it right over the character. So all you got to do is look, left, and it's not raining. But I learned that yesterday. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? That why would you render stuff that you can't see? But I don't know. It's something that you don't think about. But I learned that yesterday. So I get it that it's very complicated and the graphics are insane. It takes a lot of, power to do these things. But if Insomniac can go from, Spider-Man 2018 to the Spider-Man now, and they got delayed a year, and I'm guessing because it was of COVID, and then you have Ratchet and Clank coming out how it is, and then they have Wolverine. I think that what Salty said with the Left Behind and all the other shorter games, like they can do that, man. And
Thrifty,
I
you
would
mean?
be much more or thrifty, and I would be way more satisfied as a gamer getting more consistent things. Because look, the next Horizon may be a flop, and it's gonna take them 5, 6 years to do it. I
It
hope
might
it ain't,
be.
but who knows? A lot of people were already iffy with the story this time around. Even I was iffy at first.
Oh, I
I
love the
had to
story.
sit on it and digest it, and then I finally, the first one was just so good because you're talking about, you're building the story. To me, that's the fun part. I wish they made a prequel game to Horizon, basically the fall of mankind.
Yes.
Like that would be awesome, and I think that should be the live service game. They should have, and that's another thing with the live service. I think that they should do live service based on the popular IP. So for Horizon, for example, they could do a single player,
Give us a
prequel to the
ghost.
game,
Give
and
us.
then,
Give
yeah,
us ghost.
perfect. Yes, a Ghost of Tsushima. They can easily turn that into a live service, which they kind of did, but without the live service part, with the multiplayer aspect of it. But I just think that they need to speak to more gamers to figure out what they want because a lot of these companies, they're guessing what gamers want, and then they're coming across instances where a lot of developers are now turning on their live service ambitions. They had these plans, including PlayStation, where they're delaying more than half of their live service schedule. But, like, dude, we could have told you this 3 years ago,
We did.
but it took them.
Like,
Yeah, but not. It wasn't loud enough. Now people are speaking with their wallets, where they're not making the money,
yes,
that
yes,
they
yes.
used to make. They were still making the money while we were yelling it, but now we're yelling it and they're not making the money. So they're pivoting completely. But if they just need to have, because believe it or not, guys, just like I say that your favorite YouTuber is not playing the games they're saying they're playing, or your favorite journalist, they're not gaming as much as you think they're gaming. A lot of these developers aren't gaming at all. They're just going to work.
Dude, I'll never forget when Frost Curran, she came out and she told everybody that, like, we don't write all the reviews for the games that we talk about.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? Like, at that point, I stopped. Which is also why one of the things I respect about Game Ranks is that when Falcon or Jake do
I
not
love
write the
Falcon.
review, they tell you at the beginning that, hey guys, didn't have time to play this. This review was written by an office staff member. They did play it, and here are their thoughts on it. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they give out
Hmm.
their names, sometimes they don't, which I find that super awesome because you're just being
Even
honest up
Skillup does
front.
that. He promoted his editor, and now his editor is doing game reviews. Skillup's gonna be in the Game Awards next week. His editor is gonna review that PC games that's been a mystery forever. It's finally getting a release date. I forget the name of it. But yeah, no, they're doing it correctly. Just give us the information and let us decide what we want to do.
Right. Like, but what you were saying, I just wanted to piggyback off that because that was when it really dawned on me how some of these people can cut a review for the newest game coming out. Because I was trying to kill myself to get a review done a week,
Hmm.
and that wasn't happening. And so I started doing first impressions a week because I could play 5, 6 hours. But then I started realizing, crap, there's some games that have something there that I need to spend more time with
Yeah.
to find that something.
And sometimes a game is like a lot of times actually, especially for us PlayStation gamers, because we love our single player narrative games, you cannot get the whole vibe of the game, the intention of the game until you play the whole thing. And when I go into a review, I expect a reviewer to not only have played the game and beat it, but also have done every side mission, go after every collectible, give us the full experience, and not for every game get the collectibles, but where it matters. Where some games where you need to get X amount of collectibles, and then you get a weapon, and the weapon is OP, and it changes the dynamics of the game. Something like that, yes, you need to get it. That's why I don't really watch a lot of game reviews. I just superficial, and this is a personal gripe of mine. I'm sorry, I'm kind of taking over here, Thrifty, but this is a personal gripe of mine with these reviewers, where they're like spoiler free, or we're gonna keep it as low as possible, and then immediately they start saying, well, the story goes where you start off as a 14-year-old young man, and a spider bites you, and you become Spider-Man, and then you fight, and then they tell you the whole fucking story of the game, and they're like, no spoilers. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, just talk about the damn gameplay. We know that it's a story. Like, just tell us the story, you like it or not, and keep it moving. But man, it's just so annoying.
Yeah, and there's also been several games that I've reviewed that I've said in the reviews, like, hey, if I talk about the story at all, I'm going to give something away. And so I don't even talk about the story sometimes. I'm like, hey, it's great. It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. These are your main characters. Here's kind of their temperaments. And we're just going to proceed on because if I say anything, like the very first scene of the game will open up with a spoiler. And I'm like, well, nope. Like,
Hmm.
I did that, and I'm not going to give any spoilers away because I had to do that for Tales of Arise. I could not, and I still won't, talk about the main character's like name or what it pertains to with the story or anything like that because there are still a lot of people who haven't played that game. And I'm hoping with the Beyond the Dawn edition and all that, more people get into it. And so that's something that I will avoid. And in a review, I will avoid that just because I don't want to spoil anything. So you have to be super careful. But also, I think that reviewers, including myself, should either continue to be honest or be honest with their audience. Like, I have gone on to reviews. Gamer of Light brought up my Star Ocean review, and I did a brief, or I was going to do a, did I do one? I think I might have done one. Like, I did a brief Star Ocean review, and it was more of a first impressions. It was more of just like my initial thoughts on the title itself. And so I did that because I really wanted to talk about the game, but I only had like 7 hours in it at the time. And so I gave my first impressions. If you label it JP Loco, you absolutely need to play Tales of Arise. It is, it's damn near my number one RPG, period. I absolutely want y'all to play that. Everybody needs to play that. I'm not sponsored by them, and it's not a Square Enix title, but it's
Might as
fantastic.
well be.
Oh, shut up! It's Bandai Namco. It's freaking Bandai. You're okay.
Best game Bangai ever made is fighter jet game, or they didn't make it, they
Uh,
published it.
Four Aces.
Ace
Yeah,
Combat.
Ace Combat. I still need an Ace Combat 8, and I'm pissed off we haven't got it yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
maybe if I mention it enough, I'll get it. Just like you and I the other day were talking about Power Wash Simulator, and then all of a sudden it shows up on the PlayStation Plus list. Like maybe
Value.
if I, maybe if I talk about, maybe if we talk about certain games enough, we'll end up getting them. Let's
I'll
try
find
that.
out right now.
Tales of Exilia is okay. So Josh, I don't have that. I came to the Tales series way late, and so now I'm spoiled because if it doesn't look like Tales of Arise, it's really hard for me to play it. All right, let's go into our next topic. And this is the one that I wish we had more people here for because this is the funniest one and the best one of all. Xbox sales don't matter. Those aren't my words, folks. But in the words of Reading Rainbow, you don't have to take my word for it. You can read it for yourself. This is from GameSpot.com. Xbox explains why it doesn't reveal sales numbers anymore. This is from November 29th of 2023. Once again, Josh, you're the best. Xbox explained, okay, at first it was like, what are you doing? You're the Xbox business and you're not giving us console sales numbers? That makes no sense. This was one of their head people talking, Tim Stewart. In 2015, Microsoft stopped announcing Xbox sales numbers, and now the company has shed more light on that decision. Xbox CFO Tim Stewart said at the Wells Fargo 2023 TMT Summit, this summit was so juicy, that Microsoft doesn't publicly disclose these figures because, as Microsoft sees it, a unit sales number alone doesn't provide the clearest picture of how the Xbox brand is performing.
If you broke, just say that. That's what that tells me.
If you broke, just say that.
If you ain't
If you,
selling games, just say that.
if you ain't got no money, just say that. And we're going to get into more. It's great. For what it's worth, both Sony and Nintendo announce new hardware sales numbers every quarter. Xbox is understood to be in last place when it comes to console sales compared to PlayStation and Switch. And that might be another reason for Microsoft's lack of console sales disclosure. Stewart at the summit Stewart said at the summit, at first it was like, what are you doing? You're the Xbox business and you're not giving us console sales numbers. It makes no sense. But it really was the first point of us saying, no, no, it's about content and services. It's about content and services. Stewart said that he measures the success of Xbox by the number of customers it has and how much money Xbox makes as a brand. And Xbox is not only a console brand these days. Before this, Phil Spencer said that console sales numbers are, quote, not really a reflection of how healthy your ecosystem is, end quote. Hey,
It's a
hang on.
movement.
it's feel the rhythm, feel the ride.
Just
Come on, boys,
on.
it's bobsled time. Cool runnings. All the way down that icy ass hill. Stewart said his job is to help Xbox reach more people and to get Xbox users to spend more money. My God, at least this guy's honest. One way Microsoft is doing that is by giving players a diversity of purchasing options, including buying games outright, subscribing to Game Pass, or watching ads for mobile titles. They're such a great altruistic company. The executive said regions like Africa, India, and Southeast Asia are not console first, quote unquote, markets. So Microsoft is trying to push streaming and mobile in those places. The mobile game business is, after all, the largest and most commercially successful part of the gaming business overall. Stewart estimated that the market, damn Josh, way to go, great article. Stewart estimated that the market for consoles are in the area of a couple hundred million, while the PC market is around 400 million. A couple hundred million, that's cute. That's just PlayStation and Nintendo. For mobile, though, the potential audience is in the billions. That's a fact. This is part of the reason why Microsoft wanted to buy Activision Blizzard so that it could get a hold of the company's mobile game franchises like Candy Crush, Call of Duty Mobile, Diablo Immortal, and Warcraft Rumble, among others. Stewart stressed that the mobile market is a tough business to break into, and now that it owns Activision, it's immediately a top player in the freaking market. Ah! Looking further out, Stewart teased that Microsoft wants to leverage Activision Blizzard's experience in mobile to craft mobile experiences based on their own IP. However, he didn't announce Halo Mobile or anything like that. It's still early days for Microsoft mobile gaming. Oh Will, where the hell do you want to start?
I'll tell you where I want to start. How Xbox are gaslighters. Um, and we know this for a fact now. I mean, have y'all been seeing Bethesda's response on Steam in regards to their gamers' comments and how they're enjoying the game incorrectly? Like how when we went to the moon, they weren't bored. So therefore, you go into an empty planet, you shouldn't be bored either because you should be exploring.
Are you not entertained?
I'm like, yeah, they at least had a rover. Where the hell is your rover in this game? But no, they're just gaslighters, man. They're what they sound like. I was just in a managers meeting last night, and it's funny because there's one of our managers whose his region is doing shit. Like his numbers are down, and like it's just terrible.
How's his player engagement?
Yeah, right. And well, that's his thing. That's what he said. He's like, yeah, but we cannot go based on the numbers alone because we have more customers coming in than ever. You know, our engagement with the community is awesome. So we'll get there. We're just planting the seed. And my CEO says, planting the seed. We've been in business for 45 years. Like, how much more seed planting do you need?
That's
And
like
I'm like,
Starbucks
thank
saying they got to
you.
plant a seed somewhere. You ain't planting a seed, just put up the damn thing.
I'm like, there we go. CEO's got some balls. Thank you for fucking calling this dickhead out. And what? So now the customers are coming in, making a mess, and now not only are you not making money, but you're spending money because now you got to get somebody to clean that shit up and get their greedy fingerprints off the product. That's what Xbox is doing. It's like, yeah, no, our sales numbers don't matter because we're beating the community. I'm like, dude, you're 22 years old. Like the time for you to like become an adult, it's you've been an adult. Like you've been in this industry. Like what are you doing? But yeah, for the 360 days, you were proud to share those damn numbers.
So I'm going to start up at the top with something that actually I'm going to the top kind of 3 or 4 paragraphs. When he sits there and says it was really the first point of us saying, no, 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 it's about content and services. And then Xbox is not only a console brand these days, and then sales numbers are not a reflection of how healthy your ecosystem is. Okay, and then we're going to get into the real aspect of this. Excuse me, that I think needs to be talked about. But right here, we see that their goal is content and services. PlayStation's goal is quality games. Okay? So content and services versus quality games. Okay? Then we keep going. We are not only an Xbox brand these days. So, what he's probably referring to, now this is where I said we'll read the article, we'll take some facts from it, and then we'll kind of give our thoughts on these facts. What I think he is trying to talk about here is how Microsoft is wanting to carry themselves over into other ecosystems. Apple, Google, PlayStation, Nintendo. They want Xbox branding to be in those ecosystems because they don't view themselves as a console brand. They're not only a console brand right now, but here in a little bit they're not going to be a console brand. And yeah, they want to continue their virus. And so what they're doing is, hey, you know what? Jim Ryan told us the goals of PlayStation. This guy is finally telling us the flat out goals of Xbox. It's about their content and their services. That's all they care about. That's it. They don't give a damn if it's quality. They don't give a damn about the gamer. They don't give a damn if you buy an Xbox. They don't care about any of that crap. They think the console war thing is the dumbest thing ever, which it is. But they
No,
are
it's awesome.
so
That's what brings
uh,
in the number. It gets the people going.
yeah, that's what
And
brings
it
in the
only
numbers.
sucks for them because they're losing.
Let
If they
tell you,
weren't losing, they'd be all over it. And plus, they need it. Any sort of traction they have is because of console warring.
well, it's like the company that let Xbox, like Xbox was marketing a PlayStation title. The Josh, you'll have to help me with that, but There was that story a while back where the publisher or the developer was like, "No, we like it going to Xbox. It's free marketing for PlayStation." And I'm like, "God dang, okay." Like that was awesome. But you see both brands, and you see both brands moving in totally different directions. It's totally different directions because one is getting out of the console game, and it was the Square CFO that said that. That's right. It was they got out of the game, or they're going to get out of the console game, and that's why Phil Spencer can say stupid stuff like console sales are not really a reflection of how healthy your ecosystem is. My guy, right now you are in the console market, and because of that, that is a metric that we can gauge to see how many people give a damn about your console. But now that you've told us that y'all don't give a damn about your console, which we in the more level-headed camp have said ever since that interview with Phil Spencer, hey guys, they're backing out of the console market. They don't care about the console market. You're not a priority to them. They don't care about you. No, they love us. They love us. Phil Spencer said that they love us. No, they don't like you. They don't care about you. They went out and bought their way. That's the next thing I'm talking about in here. Um, they bought their way to become an immediate top player in the market. That fact was stressed by this Tim Stewart guy. And so they once again bought their way into a successful position. And just like Will pointed out earlier, they're going to take all these IPs, and more than likely 70% of them are going to absolutely crash and burn within the first couple years. It's going to take the others maybe 3 to 5 years. But we're going to be looking at Blizzard and Activision, and we're going to be looking at these companies going, well, damn, it's been like 4 years since the last Call of Duty. What the hell are they working on? I guarantee you, guys, Blizzard is already self-destructing, and now they're owned by a company that only knows how to self-destruct. Like, the fact that we have started the show and ended the show with two articles from the same summit, from the same guy at Microsoft, it's very, very telling when you put these two articles together, the direction that Xbox is actually trying to go. They want that Diablo Immortal money, that $500 million a year. They want that Call of Duty mobile money, which I don't know the numbers on, and Candy Crush probably has to make like $1 billion a day or something. Everybody and their freaking mother plays Candy Crush, especially the moms. But one of the other things he said, which was
My
very,
mom
very
does.
right, dude. Like
On
I go,
tablet and iPhone.
I go into houses all the time to like perform maintenances and services on AC systems, and I cannot tell you how many times I either see Candy Crush or I see that freaking game with the little king as
Oh,
the
mhm.
royal match or match
That's my
royal
mom's
or
backup game, dude. Dude, my mom
bro.
spends more money on live service games than I do, and I own Diablo. That's insane. And then she judges me because I play too many fucking games. My mom, you haven't paid my bills since I was 17, dude. Chill. Play some Horizon instead of that bullshit. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Thrifty. I'm sorry.
Like they do that, and so I can at least respect this guy talking. I think that he's just being completely honest. But listen to what he says. Stewart said his job is to help Xbox reach more people and to get Xbox users to spend more money. Okay, so he don't give a shit about you, but he wants you to spend more money as an Xbox user. Now, he wants to make sure Xbox the brand, listen to the way he words that. My god, listen to the way that's worded, is to help Xbox, the ecosystem, okay, reach more people. He wants it everywhere. He wants it on every screen. Cool. And to get Xbox users to spend more money. Now, there's two ways that we can read that. We can read that to where he means Xbox users being that Xbox ecosystem users, or we can see that he's making a distinction here between one and the other. He wants Xbox users, current Xbox users, to spend more money. Like, it's like, hey, bitches, we've been giving you shit for free this whole time. It's time to raise that price up. Oh yeah, Josh just said it. Sorry guys, I'm watching this on the PlayStation. I'm like staring at the Horizon screen. It helps keep me focused. And I see the comments a little bit delayed. But yeah, Josh just said that. Yeah, they are going to raise prices. Why? Because it's in line with what they want to do as a company. Guys, it's freaking insane what's going on. We are seeing a shift in the gaming industry that hasn't happened in 22 years. We are about to see, for better or for worse, a leader in the console industry drop out, become a third-party publisher, and somebody else step in. We can see this as sad news. We can see this as great news. Any way we slice it, it's still news, and this is something that is going to happen.
Dude, wait till game or Xbox puts multiplayer or the campaign on Game Pass, and then the other portion of the game, multiplayer campaign, as something you got to pay for. Wait till they start breaking up their games like it's a freaking menu item. Like, well, this is what you get for Game Pass. Otherwise, if you want the rest of it, you got to pay for it. It's an additional feature.
Yeah, you get
And we
the
already
free to
saw
play
that.
version. You get the free to play
Yeah, the free to
version.
play. And we saw that with Starfield. I mean, they were charging guys $40 to get quote unquote early access and the DLC for Starfield. So
Right.
that's just the
Yeah.
beginning of it. And that's not including the regular natural price hike because of inflation and just natural, financial things that happen in the market. Xbox are gonna go through a very tough time while we're over here paying $70 for our games and enjoying them like we've always done. They're gonna be going through it.
Yeah, they'll be able to sell their Xboxes and just play the PlayStations that they already own. And that's where it really comes down to it. We talked about this earlier a bit, but I do believe that PlayStation would make the stipulation that, hey, if we're going to let Game Pass come on here and you're going to go third party, you must cease and desist all console or console like. You can do your controllers, you can do your other stuff like that for like the Samsung TV or the computers or the PC or what have you. But you will no longer have a console, you'll no longer have a box, a trash can, a basketball, nothing. And I think that they will have to do that to show that Xbox is serious about getting out of it and going third party. Will Xbox do that? I don't know. I think that's where it's headed.
They
And if
will. They're gonna whore themselves out as much as possible, like they've been doing for the last 22 years.
please come play, please play with me. Look, I have the cool. God dang it! I said this before on a show, and it's really when I started to get a few more people in here on a consistent basis. They are the spoiled brat of the gaming industry.
Dude, I wouldn't be
They,
surprised if they come out with a promo where if you sign up for Game Pass for a year, we'll send you a free controller. Like, I guarantee you they'll do some shit like that.
I mean, I'll be honest. If PlayStation did that, I'd go out and buy a controller.
Yeah, but PlayStation's not gonna do that because we already buy their shit anyways.
That's true. We already do this. Somebody put in the Discord earlier that PlayStation or that Spider-Man in 2 weeks sold more than Starfield did in 2 months almost.
Mm-hmm.
This is my
Oh,
first time watching great podcasts. Shut up, Laura.
and the NPD was just for that month, like, and Spider-Man came out at the end of the month. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just, It's gonna be sad, man.
NPD
I
tells
mean,
us
it
that.
already
Yeah,
is.
that's just nuts, guys. Like, we have such, and Josh made a great point earlier when we were talking about how it could be very sad for gaming and all of that. He did bring up a good point that PlayStation hasn't had to rest or hasn't rested on their laurels for the past 5 years, and they've had no competition. And so, in one hand, I think that Xbox not being a competitive force in the market right now is actually better for us as gamers, or at least it is right now, because I can almost guarantee you that if Xbox was putting out banger after banger after banger after banger, we would end up getting games that are rushed. Because,
Yeah, but that's still the very true. But at the same time, it's still lingering there. Like it's still like all it took is for Xbox to come out with one banger or two bangers. But just the fact that they're, it's like, yeah, Jason is chasing you. Yeah, sure, he's 5 miles behind you. He's not gonna catch up with you because you're way faster. But what if you trip? Or what if he all of a sudden gets a spurt of energy? And the point is, he's back there somewhere, so we can't just drop our guard completely. And I think that's the thing with PlayStation is, yes, they've been no competition per se, but it's still lingering back there that Xbox is still making games and they're still going to put out games and there is still a market share to be had there. So even though they're not in competition per se, like I said, but they're still lingering.
no, and I agree with that to an extent, but I also agree that instead of, if let's use that example. If Jason is 5 miles behind you, you don't need to be running at full speed. You
Hmm.
can be more cautious. You can avoid the tree limbs. You can avoid
Yeah.
the potholes. You can avoid anything that's going to make you stumble, and you can just kind of keep a steady, slower, more even pace. Because you got to think, the guy behind you trying to get you is frantically running after you. And so they're the ones that are making all the mistakes. They're the ones that are releasing games that shouldn't be released, not delaying games. When your best game is a freaking indie style game, no, no, no. Like, that doesn't work. That
I just
doesn't
think it's that
fly.
safety net. It's not that they're actually doing anything of anything, but it's just that little safety net that we have because we know that, like I said, all it takes is, for one great game, and now, bam, okay, we're competition mode. And I agree with you, PlayStation is in their own race. Like Jason, yes, he's 5 miles behind, but he's in a different continent. Like we're not even, it's not even like, yes, PlayStation is running their own race at their own pace. They slow down as much as they want. They take water breaks as much as they want. They want to stop for a week because their grandmama is in. That's what they do, and they can do that, and they go ahead. I applaud them. But it's just that little insurance that we had with, okay, maybe if Xbox did this, and I think that also, just keeps them on their toe a little bit. But with them being gone, man, that's the scary part because there is no reassurance unless there's a third party, or a new player that it's not just coming in, but that can actually compete. Because if they come in Xbox style, then we're right back to square one.
And here is the thing, we don't fully know what Sony would look like without direct competition. Because during the PlayStation 1, they had the N64. It
Hmm.
was direct competition.
And Sega, and
Well, yeah, I don't count the Dreamcast. Uh, it
they
came
were
and
still
went
there.
real. They were, but I
Sega Genesis, and like the Atari at one point. There was actual competition back then.
well, no, no, no. I'm talking about just for Sony and the PlayStation brand.
Oh yeah.
And then during PlayStation 2, we had the Xbox as competition. Nintendo really wasn't our competition anymore. They made the Wii, and that took them out of that AAA third party console race. It just did. And then you had Dreamcast was 99. Oh my god. I thought Dreamcast came out early. That system sucked so bad. Anyways, no, the system
Were
didn't
you thinking
suck.
of
The
the
system was.
GameCube?
I think I might have been thinking of the GameCube. PS2, GameCube was with PS2, and then the Xbox, the original big ass Xbox, was with the PS2 also. Because the Xbox, is that right? because the
What were you
Xbox,
What were you
it
saying again?
yeah, because the 360 was with the PS3, and then the
Hmm.
Xbox One was with the PS4. Yeah, that was right.
The
Uh,
Wii
d-
U.
yes. So you had you had competition still. This would be the first
Xbox
time.
even copied Nintendo's Wii U. Like, dude, they're such. Oh my god, they're so fake. Dude, you just reminded me of the old. Like, I remember even back then, I wasn't. Back then, I was like 18, 19 years old. Your PS3 time frame. I just joined the military, so like my PS3 that I got was strictly for Blu-rays. Like that's it. I think I had like Tiger Woods just because it came with the system. Like that's. I didn't really play games. I was, just my late night. I get home from training, and even then. And I didn't follow no media, no nothing, like not like what we have today. Even then, when they had the Connect, I was like, dude, all you guys are doing is copying fucking Nintendo. Like, what is this shit? And I already knew that Xbox. I was thinking about it during the 360 era about joining, but once they did the next console with the freaking Connect, it's like, nah, I'm good. And they lost me as a customer basically forever.
Yeah, that's uh, Gamer of Light said thank you for your service, by the way.
Oh no, no problem, man.
But it's so Josh is actually like giving me a little bit of a or not a history lesson because I was there, but he's giving me a lesson on like fixing my timelines. And apparently, Sega Saturn was 2001. I fully remember that thing being like, or maybe it was the Sega CD that was the PlayStation 1 competition.
Yeah, that was in the
Anyways,
mid '90s.
okay, that's what it was. Sega was irrelevant to me once I played Final Fantasy VII. Like, most other consoles didn't exist anymore after that. And so, like, it is what it is. I got Final Fantasy VII, I got Diablo, I got Tekken 3, I got Gran Turismo 3. Um, I didn't care. That's all I needed. Sega CD was PS1. Okay, cool. At least I got something right. Um, but a no competition Sony, Marwaz. Starfield sold better on Steam than on Xbox. That's funny. Hey, I like your picture, dude. That's Clive. That is another game that came out that was awesome. But, anyways, guys, Will, do you have anything else to add tonight?
Yeah, guys, stop letting nostalgia control your thoughts in gaming. Like, dude, Spyro was good for the moment. It won't be good now. Point is, let Arkham Knight go. I know I
Oh.
bring that up because of Thirsty's comment today on Twitter and then Josh came in once again and fact checked us both. Um, but I bring that up because man, we complain all the time about remakes and remasters, and then they do them, and then you guys complain about that. It's not the right one, and I'm like, screw that, dude. You want to play it? Go back and play that crap. I want new games. I want new IP. I want the gaming industry to push it forward. I don't want to be stuck in '07 and '08. Like let's go. If you have extra time, sure, do a little quick little remake here and there. Let's bring back some of these classics. PlayStation Extra or Premium. Get your shit together. Like there's a lot of shit that I didn't play in the mid 2000s. Let's get those games on PS Plus so I can play them, especially for the amount of money that I'm paying for your service. You know? But that's it.
Yeah, Josh, I randomly go back to Arkham City because I'm still trying to get all the Riddler trophies. And those things bake my brain after a few hours of trying to get them. So I'll end up getting in there, playing for a little bit, and then hopping back off. But what I was basically saying about the Arkham Knight thing is I'm excited. Um, Ever since I found out and I got my own self corrected, I was on another show. I was in the guy's chat, and I had made mention he was going over Suicide Squad the day the more information got released, and or the day after, and I was like, man, I still don't like that. Like Shark is running and jumping with a gun, and he was like, now they've explained that, and so I actually went and watched the whole thing because inform myself so I don't sound even dumber. Watch the whole thing, and they do give at least a loose reason why you need the extra firepower. Awesome. Listen, guys, I play games that tell me that there's a big bad on another continent, and I have to get strong enough and powerful enough to go beat that big bad, and that's enough for me to play 100 hours in the game. Like, I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and say I need much, but I need at least some sort of reason why this is happening. And that was my biggest complaint with the game originally when it first was revealed, was that Suicide Squad did not use guns. One person on the Suicide Squad used guns. One. And so, well, technically two. And so, oh, hey, Michael, what's up, man? And so, with Suicide Squad, it does have my interest. But the thing that bothers me is that you took the world of Batman, the dark and gritty world, and gave it to Gotham Knights. And in this one, it's in the same universe, but we're getting all of this like, or I'm sorry, it's made by the, it is,
It's in Metropolis.
is it in the same universe as the other
Yes.
games? Okay,
Same universe, but this is Metropolis, not Gotham.
not Gotham, right? Okay, so like, it's it's just a
Well, here,
huge shift. Does that make sense?
let me.
It's
That
jarring,
makes
is what
sense.
it
But
is.
let me tell you why I'm excited for Suicide Squad, and it's got nothing to do that it's Suicide Squad. What has
Cause
me
you
excited for Suicide?
gargle their no, no. Okay, go ahead.
Nope.
Sorry.
The reason I'm excited for Suicide Squad is the same reason I'm excited for Avatar. Is the same reason I'm excited for a lot of other games. One, it's a big, huge AAA game. Two, it looks polished. It looks like it flows. The
It
gameplay
does
looks
look
like
really
gameplay.
good.
It looks colorful. It looks not like every other game. And those are the main keys of why I'm excited for this game. It's got nothing to do with a Suicide Squad. I really don't give a shit. They could have had elves up there, and I would have been just as excited. Now I understand the fans of Suicide Squad and the DC and superheroes and all that crap. But once again, guys, we're the hardcore gamers. We're the minority in the gaming industry. They're not making these games for us. They're making these games for the casual gamers, the guys that are going to be buying the majority of the games. So yes, I understand that. Hey, Gotham Knights was a very awesome. What Josh say? 5 games total, not a trilogy like I thought it was originally with the PSP games. But
That's
those are
fine.
the things that excite me. Is for those reasons I mentioned. But so many guys are just nostalgic about it. And look, I'm nostalgic too, man. I think about Super Mario World at least 3 to 4 times a week. At least I stare at my Switch and I think about it automatically, and I get it. But look, we just have to keep it moving forward, guys. Otherwise, we're gonna get a lot of this shit again, and we're just confusing the little bit of voice that we have with these developers and publishers, the little bit of things that they want to or they take from what we say. It's stuff that they want to hear anyways, which is yeah, make more of the same shit because it's proven. Let's just give these guys a fair chance. I'm not telling you go out there and buy the game day one, of course. No, wait for your reviews from your favorite guy, read the articles, make sure that it's something that you want to invest your hard-earned money, which I'm a complete advocate for. Let's not just give it away, but at the same time, like let's not crap on something that we haven't played yet. Suicide Squad, besides the maybe the lore, I guess, or whatever, the staying true to the DC. Same thing with Avatar. Same thing with whatever AAA game is. It's a game. It's fantasy. Who cares if Shark is freaking flying and shooting guns? Or who cares if whatever the blue guy is in Avatar, he's riding motorcycles and breathing regular air? Like who gives a shit, man? If you really want it to be more specific, then watch the movies. We have stuff for
Well,
that.
so here's where I'll disagree with you on that, and then I actually want to bring up one more thing that we can cover real quick, but here's where I'll disagree with you. I think that for established characters within established IP, that there is a framework that you need to follow. Okay? There is a framework I think that you need to follow. And I'm not talking about, the political side of it, like race swapping or gender swapping or all this other stuff. I'm just talking about if you want to give me, let's say, a Superman game, but you want to make it to where Superman can't fly, Superman doesn't have light or heat vision, and those powers are now replaced with he can turn his body into stone and he can burrow underground. I don't know. That is cutting away against the lore that has already been established. Now, if you take a new IP like Infamous and the guy flies by having a rocket out of his ass, I don't care. Who knows? Might be interesting. But like that's a non-established character. And so I think that's why I love Insomniac so much with the care that they showed, and I loved what Rocksteady did with the Arkham series, with the care that they showed to the to the lore and to the character that's already standing there. And it really made me happy when I listened to the interview of the head of Insomniac, and he was like, "Listen, Marvel really lets us do what we want, especially after the first game. Like, we can pull from their universes and we can make them our own." He goes, and we don't want to stray too far from it, but we still do different things in there. Like, one of the characters that gets infected with the symbiote wasn't that character in the comics. Like, the person that got infected wasn't the person with the symbiote. And it was kind of late game. It's after you've already met Venom, and it's one of Venom's little spin-offs. And I thought they did a great job of picking that person in Spider-Man 2 to be that symbiote. It was absolutely phenomenal the way they did that. Also, that fight was really, really hard. But anyways, I really like it when they stick true to established IPs. If you want to tell me next week that Ghost of Tsushima, that Jin Sakai is actually an evil warlord in this next game and the ghost mantle has gone to his head and now we have to go fight him, something completely against the code, against the way he lives towards the end of the game, something complete, fine, fuck it, I'll believe it. It's your IP, do with it what you want. But if several years down the road, another company tries and purchases the rights to Ghost and says, hey, we're going to make a game, and now Jin Sakai is, and I know I mentioned gender swapping earlier, but Jin Sakai is now a female, and instead of a sword, she has a gun, and instead of being in feudal Japan, it's what would it be like if Jin Sakai was in New York City? Like, that makes absolutely no freaking sense.
Well, I agree with you, but you have to think the key thing to all that is the explanation. And for
Sure,
Rocksteady,
sure.
they're giving us an explanation. They
Yes.
broke in, they're stealing the shit. That's why they can do some of the powers, you know. But if you're right, if they just completely flip it on its head without that explanation, then yes, of course, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
Which
if
is
they're
what I
giving
thought
us
they
a
were doing.
reasonable, yeah, no, it's reasonable, and it's you can 1 + 1 = 2, then do your thing. But yeah, no, that's you're right about all that. I agree with you, especially like as a Star Wars fan, they haven't been doing those things, and it's really frustrating,
Mm.
you know. But so I know exactly what you're saying because I feel it with Star Wars. But no, the a lot of these people give us explanations, and yeah, some of the explanations might suck, but the hardcore is so gun ho about, and it's not just gamers, it happens in everything, you know, our football, baseball teams, political, doesn't matter. We still, you know, we have perceived, you know, our the things a certain way, and we want it to go that way, and when it deviates from that, then we get pissed off.
So, speaking of getting pissed off, I. Speaking of getting pissed off, did you see the news that broke probably 2, 3 hours ago? At least that's when I saw it. Of there's another game that is beloved by our Discord community. I have not played the game yet, but damn near every one of y'all in the Discord have. It is now getting slapped with the Game Pass stench. Remnant 1 and Remnant 2 are both going to Game Pass.
Good for them. Great fucking games.
And so now people were bitching in the comments saying, man, I just bought this game too. I can't believe I had to pay for it when it was going to come to Game Pass.
Well, that's the poison from Game Pass, man. The destruction from Game Pass.
Like, both of these games are on there. Right. Ryan just said bots won't play. No, because if they wanted to play it, they would have purchased it. Like, that's the thing that kills me. And so, on one hand, I am super happy that the Remnant 2 developers got that bag because they made what I have been told is a great game. JP Loco, Remnant 2 did not sell that bad. Remnant 2 sold well enough to have a DLC drop real quick. Now, the DLC might have been planned, and Will just left. Let me see what happened. Hang on. Technical difficulties have ensued. He probably sent me a message, but my phone is on the charger. Let me see where he went. Bear with me just a second, guys. This doesn't ever happen. Whoops. Let me text him and see where in the actual hell he went. Sorry, guys. Let me resend him the invite real quick and see if he can hop back in. I don't know what happened. He just bounced. Bounce, bounce. Come on, bounce. All right. So okay, I didn't know for so I saw that and part of me started to feel some sort of way about that because I have 3 games right now that are on my radar that I want to get. And one of them is $35 right now on sale, and that's Remnant 2. The other one is Diablo 4 that is not on sale right now. And the one after that is Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn. And I had Tales of Arise when it first came out, but I played it. They said they weren't going to do any more DLC, so I traded it. And so cool. It's gone. Well, now I have to find this stupid game again, and I can't find it nowhere. And I don't want to buy it digitally because now that they're doing this, I'm just going to end up keeping it. Anyways, whatever. So I have these 3 games, and now I'm like, man, I wish PlayStation, instead of giving us Power Wash Simulator, I wish they would have given us Remnant 2. But it's that mentality that Xbox tries to instill in the people who are not part of their ecosystem. You know what I mean? That's what they try to do. Oh, look at us. Look what you're missing out by not giving us $18.99 a month. Look at what you're missing. See how we just did this? We just gave them money and now you get to play the game. Congratulations. See how good we are? They don't really give JRPGs on. No, they don't, and they should. We will get a big game for the subscription. I hope so. I really do. I don't know what big game they could give us, but oh yeah, on Essential. No kidding. Didn't we get one of the Tales of games? I think. I think they're going to give us Crisis Core. That's actually been my thought. I've thought they were going to give it to us in November. And then I thought they were going to give it to us in December. But December's other games haven't really been announced yet. But this year, or this month, giving us freaking Lego Racing? Like, come on, guys. Really? Like, and I know, as gamers, we have been through months before, back when it was just PlayStation Essential, where we didn't get really good games for several months in a row, and then they came out and did banger after banger after banger after banger. And it was awesome. Like, months where we were getting Final Fantasy VII, the next month after we were getting, like, Horizon or some shit. Like, we were getting insane games. I don't think it was Horizon, but, like, there was a stretch where we were getting some good games. And so I think God of War is going to announce Atreus' spinoff at the Game Awards. You heard that here, folks. Jot that down, clip it, do whatever you want to do with it. Guys, I don't know where Will went. Will, are you back yet? Will. He is not here. Okay. We could get Immortals of Avium this month. Man, I honestly wish they gave us Atlas Fallen, to be quite honest. I really want to try Atlas Fallen, but I don't want to pay for Atlas Fallen in any shape, form, or fashion. My wife, my wife the other night, I had decision paralysis on what game I wanted to play, and we were looking through all the different titles, and we got to EA Play, and she was like, "Oh wow, that's only $30 a year, and you get access to all those games." I said, "Yes," and one of them is Atlas Fallen. The other one is Dead Space Remake, and she goes, "That's only $30 for the year," and I was like, "Yes, honey, but it's a subscription service. That is $30 more a year. That if I just wait, I can get those games for $5 to $10 in a bargain bin somewhere, especially Atlas Fallen." And so like my wife, it gets her too. Like she does stuff for her business that's like a subscription model, and that's all it is. You know, like when you do transactions and stuff, it's no longer, hey, give us a percentage of the transaction. No, it is, we're going to make you pay a monthly fee to keep using our service. And so, anyways, guys, be smart with your money. Look at what these two companies are doing. Look at how they're operating, and realized he got pissed about Remnant and bounced. Man, I don't know where he went. I hope everything's okay. I know he has his kid is a little bit younger than my oldest, so I just hope everything's all right. Those things can go. Listen, guys, if you have little kids or had little kids, those things can go from perfectly fine to spewing vomit out of everywhere. Like it just happens super quickly. Or they'll go from being fine to all of a sudden they're choking on an eraser that you didn't even know they had, that you didn't even have in the house. And so now you have two problems. Why are you choking? And where is the eraser? And where the hell did you get it from? Like, now you got two problems on your hand. But, like, kids do that to you, man. They really do. If I couldn't find the articles for tonight, I was just going to have Will and I sit and talk about what it's like being a dad and a gamer and having a professional work life and trying to do the show. Like, just kind of what goes into that. Like, do you do anything different? Stuff like that. I think we might do that towards the end of the year. Speaking of that, guys, a little bit of housekeeping. This is getting closer to the end of the year. We are coming up on a full 2 years. My first video was published January 22nd, I believe. And so we are coming up on 2 years. I thank y'all. I thank the community here. The last video we did, the last live stream, reached 500 views faster than any other video that has been uploaded to the channel. Every video I've done recently has broken records for standalone videos. So, guys, don't tell me good job. Please, Josh, this is more because of y'all. This is because of Will. This is because of Nelson. This is because of Toolman. This is because of RPG88. This is because of those guys who came on the show. And adios, JP Loco, where are you going? JP, what? I start talking and in my feels and stuff, and now you leaving, man. That's messed up. No, I'm just kidding, man. Have a good night, dude. But seriously, this community has made this channel grow. Y'all have willed this thing from a channel that had 70 subs to a channel that's on the doorstep of 500. Like, that's insane to me, the amount of growth that we have had in a year. When I first started this thing, I had folks tell me, you won't be monetized for a good 5-10 years. You won't be here or there for 5-10 years. That's the average that it takes people to get monetized on YouTube. And we're going to do it from 70 subs. We're going to do it in a year and a half, which is insane. So 2.5 years to monetization. And we're gaining subs. We're gaining about 20 to 30 subs a month, which is slow growing, but it's still growing. And we're growing it with the people who we like. We're growing it with the people who can engage in conversation and disagree. Will and I disagree on a lot of stuff. But like I said earlier, we have a ton of respect for each other. And if we keep building this community like we are, we will have no problem watching this channel grow, get bigger, and our communities get larger, and our reach go further. Which is what I want. I want a place where gamers can come and just talk gaming. That's it. That's all I want. And guys, I know we talk about the Discord a lot. I'm not going to monetize the Discord. I don't give a rat's rip about that. But we have folks in there that talk about gaming all day long. Seriously, I wake up in the morning and my Australian friends in there will have had a conversation after all of us went to bed. Like, it's nuts. It's so awesome to see. And so, with that, guys, once again, be smart with your money. Do smart things. Don't give money to a company that doesn't actually appreciate gamer talk is real talk. Abso-freaking-lutely, dude. Gamer talk is real talk, and it's awesome. Dude, have you thought about zoning in on one thrifty game a month for the community to play and talk strats and stuff? Ooh! So, gamer, I have kind of thought about that, but I've thought about it more, like, so for Spider-Man 2, what we did in the Discord was, in order to prevent spoilers and stuff like that, we created a little spoiler Discord for Spider-Man 2. So in there, we kind of talked, we hyped up certain spots, and we asked a couple questions in there. The Discord was actually kind of smaller back then, so there's only a few of us in there. But I would love eventually to do stuff like that. I kind of do things like that with what I'm trying for what I did with Spider-Man 2 and Final Fantasy 16, where I did a full-on like roundtable discussion over spoilers of the game, what we liked, what we didn't like, what were some things that we thought they nailed, what were some things we thought they didn't, favorite characters, just what have you, just a full-on spoiler review. And both of those did really, really well. And I'm going to kick some cheeks in Nicola. Have a good night, JP. Yeah, we will have a thread for, oh my God. We will, I might need some folks' phone numbers for that motherfather. I might need it. Because that game has me so freaking hyped. Like, yeah, Discord, but also at the end of the month, a whole show about the game. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like, we could do that. I'm playing a game right now that I'm actually going to do a review on. So, guys, my next review is of Diablo 2 Resurrected. And then, to hit on the thrifty part, it'd be a free game. Oh, I really like that. So, like, oh, that means can it be a free game that's in PlayStation Plus, extra or premium? Because I don't really want to play. I don't really want to play any of the games that are in the Essential right now. So, PS Plus pals, yes. Oh, the Playground PS Plus Thrifty Roundup. Something that dropped in the service. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, dude, we could definitely do that. Will and I tend to play the games that we even disagree on, though exactly any of those. Yeah. So, Will and I, what's real funny is we'll each have played the games that the other one talked about, but we'll have totally different takes on it. And so it's really fun to have him on the show, the way that he carries himself. And man, I wish he was here. So let's say this. I got to end the stream. This has been great. Maybe one of the shows, maybe we'll hop on, do like a state of the show type of deal to talk about segments that y'all would like to see. Because here's the deal. I have found that I have two crowds, and they don't really overlap a ton. I have my crowd that is my ride or dies that are in the Discord that come to the channel every week. Or not that you're not a ride or die if you're not in the Discord, but like you come to the channel every week, you're here for the shows. Whenever I post a video, you watch the video. But then I have folks that only watch the videos and they don't actually come to the live stream, which is fine. totally okay. I am fine with whatever. I built this channel as a review channel, and then I really started enjoying doing gaming news coverage. So, like, I think that would be super fun. A lot of y'all have really good ideas, and I know Will is super appreciative of this community and what it stands for and what we've tried to foster. Uh, this show has taken such a great turn having a full-time co-host. Um, Instead of me trying to scramble to find people every week to come on, or me trying to do the show by myself. But Essential was dog shit, so Extra should be good. Yeah, that's usually the way it works. Thankfully, I'm not worried about any of the games on Essential coming to Extra, because they've done that before. Different time zones makes it harder to show up every time. Dude, I'm telling you, man. I have one of the most faithful people who constantly comes back. Actually, I think it is you. You always watch the videos, but you watch them like the day after, and then you leave like 3 or 4 comments as the video goes on, and I absolutely love that. I love seeing that kind of engagement, and I am going to check my messages one more time to see what happened to Will. Oh, okay. Will's power just went out. I was going to ask him, is it back on? That sucks. Okay, so he's not probably going to make it back tonight. So with that, guys, follow him on Twitter at Will777JP. That is Will777JP. You can check me out over there. You probably already know where that's at, but it's at ThriftyPSGR. You can add us on the PlayStation. If you want, Will's is the same exact thing as his Twitter. But if you want to add me, it's ThriftyPS_GR. And it makes me happy to see that in the chat every freaking time. Stay thrifty, guys. No, seriously though, you can check me out there. You can follow me on here, and we will be back next week with another episode. I know that Sony is going to do something that probably makes me come back here next week and talk about how I can't believe that Sony did this and how the whole thing is burning down. That's the gaming world. That's the playground. Today, Xbox got shit on. Next week, it might be PlayStation. Come on back next week to see how it goes. And with that, stay thrifty.